This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thanks for getting up with us on this Saturday morning. I'm Evan Watson. This morning on Sunrise, gunshots, furniture flying, and then a fire. What we know about the suspect who police say put his neighbors in danger. Plus, raising the requirements to patrol our streets, what one Oregon lawmaker is now proposing that he says could produce more quality officers. But before we get to all that, let's check in with Chris McGinnis for a look at our Saturday forecast. How's it going, Chris?
Good morning and welcome to the Sunrise Show. And thank you everyone out there for joining us early. It's dark and early on this Saturday morning, but once the sun comes up, you'll probably see widespread cloud cover across the region. It is cloudy, last check at PDX, and even a little milder this morning than we were yesterday at this time. We've only gotten down to 43 so far at the airport. Cloud cover yielding a couple sprinkles and some snow flurries up in the Cascades. You see that off to the east there. A couple sprinkles along the South Washington coast this morning as well. It's not out of the question that we squeeze out a raindrop or two, but the perspective here as we go out a little wider, we have a little system here off the Washington coast this morning that's going to push southward through the day. So that will keep the clouds in play, and that will keep at least the threat for a couple sprinkles at least in the Willamette Valley as we go through our late Saturday morning and early Saturday afternoon. Right now, 39 Hillsborough, Forest Grove, and King City. Those are some of the cooler pockets right now. Over on the east side, Troutdale 43, Sherwood checking in with 42. We go out a little wider here across the state. The cold stuff, of course, east of the Cascades, Burns right now waking up to 10. It's 23 in Baker City this morning. All right, the plan for today, lots of clouds this morning. I have us mostly cloudy throughout the day, and there is a chance that we could squeeze out a couple of raindrops here in the valley. The best opportunity, though, for rain will probably be at the north coast and then in the Cascades, where that will be in the form of some light snow. Snow levels today between about 2,500 and 3,000 feet. But all in all, a fairly quiet Saturday. Evan?
Thank you, Chris. We start this half hour with some frightening news from North Portland. It started with what appeared to be gunshots, then things were thrown off an apartment balcony, and then there were flames, with neighbors being told not to go outside. One man is in custody, and community members tell us they're feeling relieved. Catherine Cook takes us to St. John's.
Fire jutting from this 8th floor apartment in St. John's Friday evening. It was the last in a series of wild and alarming events to unfold near Cathedral Park. It started around 1:30. That's when police responded to the shrunk Riverview Tower on North Syracuse. Callers reported a man in a mental health crisis throwing things from his balcony, including furniture. When police showed up, they say the man answered the door holding a rifle before closing the door on them. Officers backed off to regroup, and then things escalated.
And we've heard multiple shots fired from inside the apartment.
Sergeant Kevin Allen says none of those shots were fired outside the apartment, but at times the suspect stepped onto the balcony holding the rifle. For that reason, police issued a shelter-in-place order for anyone within 4 blocks of the building. They also activated tactical units and crisis negotiators.
A situation we consider to be an armed, barricaded subject with a rifle in an elevated position in a highly populated area. So we have a tremendous amount of concern for public safety in this situation.
He's really pissed off. Very, very, very pissed off, and seems like he's off his meds.
Brooke Rose Call says her boyfriend knows the suspect and saw him with a rifle on Thursday.
Matter of fact, it is a pellet gun. It is not a shotgun. They're both pellet guns, and because my man actually uncogged it or whatever, but we didn't have no clue he was like gonna go nuts or anything.
Just before 5, things took another turn. Police say the suspect started a fire on the balcony. It grew fast. Fortunately, firefighters responded from just a block away. Meanwhile, officers loud-hailed the suspect from the hallway. He came out, and officers arrested him.
I mean, it's heartbreaking for everybody else that lives there.
Cookie Lindstrom works across the street. She believes the same man showed up outside her salon on Monday in crisis and once again carrying a rifle.
Said he was going to shoot who it was that broke into his apartment and stole all his money. I talked him down, got him calmer. He appreciated it. He said, thank you for caring, blah, blah, blah. And then when I saw this, I felt in my heart it was him.
There were no reported injuries, but police say one person experienced a medical issue while they were evacuating residents during the fire. The suspect was taken to the hospital as a precaution. Police haven't yet released his name. The man found guilty of killing a 17-year-old Portland girl in 1974 will spend the rest of his life in jail. A Clark County judge sentenced Warren Forrest to life in prison for the murder of Martha Morrison. New DNA technology helped secure a conviction. Forrest was already serving a life sentence for the murder of another young woman, Krista Blake. Investigators believe Forrest is responsible for killing 7 women across Oregon and Washington. Investigators say a threat that caused Tigard High School to cancel classes on Friday was not credible. Police say they're looking into whether it could be connected to a fight Thursday at the school. They've identified the students involved in that fight and verified there was no threat of violence to the school community. After-school activities continued as planned last night.
So stop asking questions about that. I'm telling you, nobody knew anything about this.
The board chair of the Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission has resigned after a scandal over bourbon. Paul Rosenbaum resigned on Thursday. It's the second resignation within the OLCC this week. The director left on Wednesday. All of this is fallout from an internal investigation. Top executives are accused of hoarding expensive bourbon for themselves before the public could buy it. At a board meeting this week, Rosenbaum said he knew nothing about the scandal, then clarified that he'd learned about the allegations last fall, but they were supposed to remain confidential. An Oregon lawmaker wants all new police officers to go to college. His proposal is getting mixed reaction as departments nationwide struggle to recruit. Alma McCarty looks at the issue for us.
Senate Bill 779 creates, as Senator Lou Frederick explains, a different set of expectations for those tasked to protect and serve.
As you begin to create a different credibility that is sorely lacking in many of our communities regarding police force coming in. Folks will accept some things, but there's if anybody doesn't believe that there's a credibility gap, then they haven't been paying attention.
He's proposing a higher education requirement, a 2-year degree for officers in departments with 50 or fewer officers, and a bachelor's degree for departments with 50-plus officers.
We're not saying that everybody has to have a PhD, but we are saying that we want to see folks begin to have a broader sense of the community, of the world around them. They have the ability to injure and potentially kill somebody. So I want them well trained and understanding what's going on.
This week in Salem,
the first public hearing that we will have will be Senate Bill 779.
Lawmakers listened to testimony in committee. The vast majority spoke out against the bill. While they didn't dispute the value of education, opponents believe these requirements could make a current staffing crisis worse.
An incentive-based system works with encouraging more education. It should not be a punitive mechanism that may prohibit the best hire from getting through the door.
As valuable as education is, it takes time and money that many working families don't have.
We can't support such a narrow view of what makes a viable applicant or public servant.
Sergeant Aaron Schmautz, president of the Portland Police Association, echoed that view.
We're looking for candidates who want to serve, who have the right temperament. And we can train you, but we want to make sure that, again, that you have the right kind of mindset. It's not that education doesn't help or hurts. It just means that this job is a very kind of specific skill set.
Senator James Manning, who worked as a corrections officer and police officer, expressed that higher education for law enforcement would be a step in the right direction. Some of the comments made during the hearing, he said, disturbed him.
What I'm hearing is that you only need to breathe in order to get a job in law enforcement. That in itself is scary and it sends a bad signal.
Another hearing for the bill has yet to be scheduled. We'll keep you updated on the process. A Southwest Washington lawmaker wants to help the bar and tavern business. The plan, letting younger adults 18 and up work back of the house jobs. Coming up next, we'll look at the proposal, which has already seen a test run over the last few years. And did you know you can watch Sunrise anytime you want on KGW+? All of our news is on Roku and Amazon Fire. Just look for KGW and add us to your home screen and stream Sunrise on your schedule.